This video is going to be completely different than the one I had originally planned on doing about the topic I'm about to discuss. The truth of the matter is, I'm completely blown away by the responses I got from single men who I queried, asking them to share their experiences with regard to the cost of dating. Originally, I was going to do a talk about how expensive it has become for men in the dating world, what with the cost of things like the dating apps, not to mention going out to dinner, or the cost of the dates themselves, especially with regard to the increased expectations today's women have on just how much money men should be spending on them when they go on dates. Which is why I posted on my various social medias asking single men to tell me how much they spent on average on a typical date and how many dates per month they were going on. I also asked how much they were spending on things like the dating sites and whatever other means they were using to find dates. My goal ultimately was to get a rough number of just how expensive dating has become for the average man in 2024. And to be fair, I had a few that responded with their actual numbers, which ran the gamut from $150 a month all the way up to a couple thousand. But that doesn't even come close to telling the tale. Because the number one answer by a country mile that men gave me was zero. That's right, the overwhelming majority, and I'm talking 90% plus of those who responded to my query said they don't spend a single cent dating anymore. They've walked away and aren't coming back anytime soon. Now, I knew I would get some zero answers because I see those things all the time in the comments on my videos, where guys say they're done and walking away from dating. But 90%? Wow. Now look, I'm not trying to claim this is a scientific survey by any means. Some will argue that I'm relying on the self-reporting of these men and what they're telling me, which is a fair point. But the reality is, that's not all that much different from what those so-called scientific studies do. Add to it, when you combine the results of my unofficial study with the literally hundreds of thousands of comments that I've gotten on my videos just this year alone saying the very same thing, well, that's not something that should be so easily dismissed or ignored. And as one person commented on my inquiries, I wonder if the women are reading these, going through them and asking themselves, why? Why are all these men saying they're done with dating? The truth of the matter is, I already know the answer to that. They aren't reading them for the most part because when they see stuff like that, they immediately dismiss it or label the guys saying it with their favorite insult for guys that have walked away, which is to call them incels. Even the few that do acknowledge that it's men who are walking away can't admit that they might be the problem. And they resort to making claims like men are just afraid of them or are intimidated because they're strong and independent. What a load of crap. They're going to great lengths to avoid dealing with the reality that men not only don't want to date them anymore, they don't even want to be near them. Today's women don't want to acknowledge that they and their toxic mindset towards men are leading men to say,
"Hasta la vista, baby."
And it's why the situation is only going to get worse.